mocked Donald Trump when he was talking about the Robert E. Lee statue, which I don't have an issue if a community comes together and says, hey, there's a statue or some sort of monument that we no longer want up, and you do it the right way and you vote to have it removed, and whatever the outcome of the vote is the outcome of the vote, and there you go. But Trump said some of the standards being used for the removal of statues would, or monuments, or I mean, what would you call, I guess, what was it? What's the thing? I don't remember what it's called, but whatever the face. It's very early. I don't think my brain is fully working, but the faces of the president's Vice News talked about that they wanted to remove that, and so I guess you could consider that a statue or a sculpture or whatever. But regardless, any of these historical objects, the standards for removal are getting to the point where President Trump said, are you going to remove statues of George Washington? And people mocked him. Mount Rushmore, thank you very much. The standards for removal are increasing, and he said, are you going to remove George Washington? And people mocked him. Oh, you don't understand. You don't understand. You're being ridiculous, and you're being racist. So with that in mind, why don't we go over this? California NAACP wants to remove racist Star-Spangled Banner. The California NAACP is coming after a new symbol of American heritage for its racism. Star-Spangled Banner, according to sfgate.com, the national anthem is a racist song, and the NAACP wants to push state lawmakers to change it. Alice Huffman, the president of the California chapter of the NAACP, said the song is racist and that it doesn't represent our community. It's anti-black people. The sites, what does that say? The sites, it says the sites. The strong third verse, I guess they cite, put a Y in their Daily Caller. That would be nice. They cite, that still wouldn't make sense. The sites, the song, third verse. That doesn't make sense. So I'm going to editorialize the Daily Caller for them and say they are citing the song's third verse, which is usually not sung, as evidence of its racist overtones. The third verse includes a line that says, no refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. When the song was written in 1814, slavery was still legal in the United States. This news comes as protests surrounding the national anthem have become a focal point of the culture war. President Trump and supporters have insisted the National Football League players stand for the anthem before games. On the other hand, others like Colin Kaepernick think that acknowledging America's alleged racism and police brutality requires them to kneel during the pregame ceremonies. Lennon McCarthy, song is not racist, one use of slave, not racist. It seems here that they're saying just the fact that a slave was referenced in the song makes it racist. Like I said, if that's the standard that we're using, then we're going to be taking down a lot of shit. Is that wise? There are groups that take down a lot of shit using very unreasonable standards. Thank you, Lennon McCarthy. Like I said previously, if people want to take down statues and change things, if doing it democratically is fine. However, would you not agree that we should come up with a reasonable basis, a reasonable standard? If you have a standard that is too strict, how is it different than, I mean, you would agree, for example, that the standard that ISIS uses to take down monuments and statues is unreasonable. You would agree. I would hope you would agree with that. So if you're using a standard that is causing you to take down almost everything, would you not at least be able to draw a parallel between that and ISIS? I'm not saying that people that want to remove these things are like ISIS, But I'm one of the people that believes you should probably stay away from ISIS as much as possible, and when it comes to ideology. So I think that when you have standards that require you to remove statues of George Washington, statues of Abraham Lincoln, I would argue that that would be quite problematic. Now, this is not just the NAACP. Democratic representative sees nothing wrong with changing the anthem. Illinois Democratic Representative Danny Davis says, Danny Davis, isn't that the old referee in the WWF? Remember back in the day? If you remember this reference, I'll give you extra points. Danny Davis, the corrupt referee back in the day in the WWF. If you remember that reference, God bless you. Anyway, Illinois Democratic Representative Danny Davis, not the referee, says he sees nothing wrong with the California ACLU's effort to ban the Star-Spangled Banner as the country's national anthem. Now, I thought it was the California NAACP, so Daily Caller, I don't know. I guess I don't know what's happening here. I thought it was the NAACP. Is it the ACLU as well? Okay, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Lennon McCarthy, it depends what your definition of ISIS is. Touche. Touche, sir. Well, you know, one of the things about the Constitution that our forefathers wrote, and basically, there were none of our forefathers that were there. There were none of our foresisters there. There are changes that can take place, and there is room to change, he told the D.C. Thursday. So are we now getting rid of parts of the Constitution because women were not represented properly? Oh, that's, again, your standards. Your standards. Nick Patrick, you're bringing up Nick Patrick. I do remember Nick Patrick. If your standards are so unreasonable that people are drawing parallels between you and ISIS, you should probably check yourself. Alice Huffman, president of the California chapter of the NAACP, declared the anthem to be racist. And so that's all that it takes now. A person declares something racist, and therefore that's how it works. Okay. Elizabeth B., what's next? Book burning? Well, they're taking certain books out of schools for triggering people. So, I mean, while they're technically not burning the books, it's at least in the ballpark, I would argue. Thank you, Elizabeth B. Stop the hammering. Fuck Streamlabs. They just take my money. Yes, I'm glad you're here. I will read your Streamlabs at the end of the broadcast. Thank you, Stop the Hammering. And if they're not coming up, did anyone see a Streamlabs come up on the screen? Because there might be some sort of thing with the, what is it called? The, not installation, but the trying to set it up in OBS. I might have, since I added some new video bumpers, there might be some sort of issue with it. Anyway, continuing. Alice Huffman, president of the California chapter of the NAACP, declared it racist. It's anti-black people, she said. The NAACP is hoping for lawmakers to change it. Davis, a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, went on to say, intellectually, if people continue to pursue this nation to become perfected, then I see nothing wrong with that. I mean, it was designed, I think they said, to form a more perfect union. I don't have a problem with that sentiment, but you're arguing that you should remove historical artifacts. Smith Esquire, anyone know when Peter Douche will be released from Twitter prison? I believe his account has been permanently suspended on Twitter. And also, yeah, I guess we can also include the Twitter suspensions of people with the YouTube suspensions as well. But yeah, from what I understand, Peter Douche's account has been permanently suspended, but I could be wrong about that. Clinton Evans, I get called racist, pointing out that Nelson Mandela was at one point in time a terrorist. Mind you, us South Africans are all racist, right? I believe I've read that, although from what I understood, he reformed and was no longer a terrorist. Now, granted, however much you want to, buy into reforming of terrorism is up to you. But if you have information on that, I'll be happy to look at it. Thank you very much, Clinton Evans. I don't know a whole lot about South Africa other than what's currently going on over there with the farmers being murdered. Oh yeah, we do Streamlabs at the end because we don't have a monitor right now to see them. I can't see them when they come up, so there's no way for me to do it. And people generally, I don't think, want me to like stop, log into the account and do that. So I have to do it at the end. And until we get a monitor, at some point, it'll all be incorporated in one thing. Akajin, you know, if we just guessed these people, there would be no issue with racism. Just saying. Well, you know, I think you are more along the lines of Perseus Gold and their camp. When we were doing the article, no, it was a video. We were doing a video about Keith Olbermann. His argument was that caning would resolve this problem. So perhaps, perhaps you would be, maybe you would prefer caning over gassing. Yeah, I don't think we can gas people. I'm opposed to that, but I would recommend talking to Perseus. Perseus has had about enough of democracy and would like to cane people. So maybe maybe you can talk to him. All right, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate the super chat. So continuing, he added, they didn't say that it was perfect at the time. No, they didn't. But they did say that we could continue to pursue perfection, and if there are individuals who think that we can make the national anthem more perfect in terms of the goals and objectives of this country, then I say so be it. Well, if you want to add something to it, that's fine, but I think how you've handled it so far is okay. They just don't read the third verse. That's worked, but apparently you can... This is one of the reasons I reject this bullshit. It's because you are delusional if you think that you speak on behalf of a whole group of people. I don't care what group it is. You are delusional. Not every person agrees with you. And so you are just going to dictate to those people and everyone else that doesn't agree with you what is to be done. If you're going to do something like this, I would argue that you should vote on it. So have everyone vote on it, and then we'll see. And you'll probably lose, and that's probably why you're going a different route, I would submit. Fellow CBC member, Democratic Missouri Representative Lacey Clay, said he would have to examine which part of the anthem the NAACP takes issue with, but he told the Daily Caller they have a right to object to any stances in the national anthem that they find objectionable and racist. Oh, I agree with that. They do have a right to do that. Akajin, so it's Akajin, thank you, sir, who says I didn't mean fart rape. Oh, that would be a fantastic idea. Yes, that's true. Who knew? I didn't know. So Akajin, when comparing his method to caning, I think I would probably go more with the gassing if you're talking about farting, because then it would just make people feel uncomfortable. Still, I guess farting on people against their will is considered rape, so I would have to morally oppose it. But it is at least not as extreme as caning, although you could probably have a very nuanced discussion about that. Thank you very much, sir. The NAACP referenced the anthem's third verse, which is seldom sung and includes the line, "No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave." The Star-Spangled Banner was written in 1814 by Francis Scott Key at a time when slavery was legal in the United States. Lennon McCarthy says, solution, remove entire third verse. Ta-da. Yeah, that would be fine. I have no problem with that. They don't sing it anyway. I don't even think most people realize that there's a third verse. But see, that's the thing. That's not what is going to be argued, because that doesn't give anyone any power. If you and your lobbying group or your political action group is successfully able to remove a statue, remove a song, then that gives you more political power. This is about politics. They do not really give a fuck about this. They think, what can we do to make a big splash and get headlines? What could we do to give us more power and have people look at them over there? Look what they're getting done. Yes, because removing any statue or song is really putting money into poor communities. It's really helping people get jobs. Yeah. Thank you, Lennon McCarthy. So again, my argument on the left, to the left, is who is actually being helped by your advocacy? Is anyone being helped? Most of the time, they're not.